Hi, welcome to AM Prime. I am your interim host, Dominique Roy. I will be holding down the fort until our main host gets here. I hope that I do a good job. I hope that you're educated, you're informed, and you're entertained today by all of the interviews and the segments we have planned for you. But before we get into that, I have an inspirational moment for you, so bear with me a bit. My inspirational moment for today comes from Robert Schuller. And he said, problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. Now, I don't know about you, but that really spoke to me. And there's an article that was released online. It was dated July 2nd, 2018. And in that article, they talk about problems not being stop signs, understanding that problems come, but they may arise, but they're there to help guide us through. Maybe it's time to take a pit stop and just figure out where we want to go, how we're going to achieve our dream, what route we need to take. But it's definitely not to stop. So I hope that you are encouraged today by that. And there are 3 ways that we can overcome these hurdles, these problems. One is by giving thanks, having gratitude. Having an attitude of gratitude is always the best attitude to have. The other thing is choosing to see our problems as maps of our lives, not indications to stop or to quit or to give up, but just a way that we can maneuver, shift, reroute, refocus our vision. And the third thing is to trust our journey. Everyone's journey is not the same. So comparing ourselves, thinking that we're not good enough or we're not better or we're not great isn't going to help us. But understanding that our journey is different, our end goals might be the same, but the way we get it is completely different. And that is okay. So I hope that that was encouraging for you this morning. And we are going to move along to our first interview. Joining us to talk about COVID is Dr. Wheeler on the line on Zoom. But before we get to Dr. Wheeler, we just came out of a tremendous carnival season. Many of us, and I said us, were on the road. We had a time. We were mingling with friends, family members, even strangers. And now we're seeing that there's a bit of a increase in cases. Maybe a couple of people around us are sick, they are unwell, and we want to know, is there a spike? Can we expect a spike in cases? So to answer that question, not to scare us, but to answer that question, we have Dr. Erica Wheeler, PAHO and WHO representative for Trinidad and Tobago and the Dutch territories. Welcome, Dr. Wheeler.
Good morning, Dominique, and thank you for those inspirational words to start us off.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
All right. So, Dr. Wheeler, the COVID-19 virus is still present 2 years and counting. Yes. Was this something that WHO felt would have still been in existence to this day so far along?
Well, I would say at the outset, of course, no one knew how long COVID would last. And I don't know if people in Trinidad remember that there was SARS and after 2 years it disappeared.
Right.
But we are at a stage now where we realize that COVID is here to stay. And if you think about it, smallpox was the only disease we had that's been eliminated, although we have monkeypox popping its head up, which is a relative. But we've never got rid of the flu. We get colds all of the time. Viruses evolve. And what it appears now is that COVID is here to stay. And so we have to learn to live with COVID and just be sensible about how we live our lives from now on.
Right, right. It's important that you said that you know, the evolution of viruses, so the evolution of the flu and all of that. And we know that with the onset of COVID, there came the variants. In this present stage right now, you know, is this form of COVID as aggressive as it was from on the onset?
Well, at the onset, we had the alpha and the beta gamma, and we had delta, and delta was the most deadly. With Omicron now and the various what we call sublineages, but just the mutations really, that means of Omicron, it does not appear to be as deadly. But having said that, it does not mean that people are not dying. People need to understand that the flu kills people. So viruses always have a potential to hurt the most vulnerable in our societies. The thing about COVID, even with Omicron, is that older people, people with underlying health problems are still vulnerable to having Omicron. So I would say on one hand, clearly it's not as virulent as Delta. And that's why many people may say, oh, I just have a little cold or a little flu. So the symptoms may not manifest themselves in such a severe way, but it still can make you very ill depending on your own health condition.
Right. Because I wanted to ask you about that. There are persons who are saying, that they don't feel well and they may be experiencing some symptoms that are quite similar to that of COVID, but they're testing negative. So is there is something that exists that may be similar, a flu or virus that may resemble it?
Well, yes, we are actually in the flu season now. In this part of the world. So there are 3 viruses. There's COVID, there's flu, and there's something called RSV, which is another virus that attacks young children. It can affect young children quite badly and older people. So what we have is co-circulating viruses. So it might be that you have the flu rather than COVID, but the issue is not everybody is being tested. It also depends at what point in time you test when you use your home test, for example, because until you have a sufficiently high amount of virus in your system, at first you may test negative and then you test 2 days later and you test positive. So that's why we suggest that people repeat the test to ensure that they are COVID-free, because even if you have the flu, you should stay home. You should, not go out and about and infect other people. So it is important that people know what their status is. But the answer is yes, there are co-circulating viruses. And we've had people coming in for Carnival and bringing even the flu virus from another part of the world here. So sometimes it's difficult to know what you have, but it's responsible to test and retest.
I'm glad you mentioned that. 2 really important points. One, it's Carnival, so we have an influx of tourists, and with that always comes some sort of virus or illness, people bringing things that they pick up and bringing it here. And the other thing is, if you feel sick, because you're not sure what it is, then it's advised that you remain home, you distance yourself until you figure out what it is. Because I know, some of us with allergies, we may be sneezing, we may be coughing. It's our allergy, we just chuck it up to that. But just reiterate that for those listening and looking on, the importance of keeping yourself separate and apart if you do feel unwell.
Yes, that is very important. I mean, I have traveled to Asia. Specifically, I'm talking now, when I was in Japan, I saw people wearing masks, and that was many years ago. And I came to understand that whenever someone had, any kind of viral infection, say flu, and they were traveling on public transport, they automatically wore a mask because it was the responsible thing to do to protect, other people from picking up whatever they had. We have to learn to have a similar approach now that we have COVID with us. That's not going to go away in any hurry. We really don't know. We believe Maria Van Kerkhove, who is the technical lead for COVID-19 at WHO, said that we will have to learn to live with COVID because WHO, at this point in time, with the evidence we have, we believe it will become endemic like the flu, that it will be here with us, that there will be peaks and troughs, but COVID will not entirely disappear. So we do have to be responsible, change our mindset, our cultural mindset, the things that we would normally not do in this part of the world, which is wear a mask. We have to learn to do what's necessary when we're not feeling well, especially stay at home, or if you test negative and you might have the flu, still you stay at home, but when you feel a bit better, you go out, you wear your mask. You don't, you stay a distance from people. And washing your hands and sanitizing is like, that must become such a normal part of what we do, because it also reduces the incidence of other things like gastroenteritis and all these things that we get when we don't practice proper hygiene.
Right.
So you can never go wrong with following those measures.
Right. Yeah. It was a bit shocking when there was the onset of COVID, and persons were a bit shocked, that we now have to wash our hands and we have to sanitize, and those are things that we should be doing right through. That's just our personal responsibility to protect ourselves and our loved ones. You mentioned about wearing the mask, and I did observe, using public transportation, that some persons are still wearing their masks. Some people have not stopped wearing it, and there's some people, if they feel unwell, but not enough to make them remain at home, they still do wear the mask. So I think that's really important with you mentioning that. Over the carnival season as well, we talked about the influx of persons coming in. Do you think that we can expect to see an increase in cases based on our recent activities? What are your thoughts on that?
It is possible, but how high it will go really depends on the level of immunity we have in the country. Because remember that although we just have 51.3%, I think, of persons vaccinated, there were many other people who got COVID. And of course, even if you're vaccinated, you can still get COVID, as we now know.
Right.
Although the plus always is that once you are vaccinated and boosted, the likelihood of becoming severely ill or dying from COVID is very, very low, and usually for people who have comorbidities. So it is possible to see an increase in cases, but I want to read something for you that is a cautionary note. It's from our daily COVID updates that we get. Okay. And it says that among 20 countries and territories in the region with available data, COVID-19 hospitalizations increased in 5 countries and territories between less than 1%. In fact, it was very small amounts in some countries, all the way up to 100% during what we call epidemiological week 6, which was the 5th to the 11th of February. And amongst those countries is Trinidad and Tobago. It speaks to the increase in cases and hospitalizations. Now, it does not say that the amount was huge, but there was a note that in these countries, with the data, that both admissions to hospital as well as in the ICU units went up. Now, the other countries were in Latin America, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Panama, Peru, but it says and Trinidad and Tobago. So, of course, we cannot rule out that possibility, and we know that it usually takes about 2 weeks for cases to go up. But we also need to remember that before Carnival itself, there were many Carnival feds, many mass gatherings, and there was not a huge outbreak. And that's why I said we have to think of the immunity, the status of immunity in the country, because we actually don't know how many people got COVID.
Yeah, correct.
No. And so it is difficult to say, there will be a spike, a huge spike, or there would be a medium spike or whatever. But we know that already there's been an increase before Carnival. We can expect to see cases, but it takes about a couple of weeks. And of the people who get it, there's always a certain percentage of people who are immune compromised, maybe because of medication they take, or persons who have underlying illnesses. Now, depending on whether they were vaccinated or not, they may or may not end up in hospital.
Right.
So we in a way, it's like we're not certain what kind of increase there will be, but it will not be a surprise simply because of the influx of the, large numbers of people.
Right.
So that is where we are. But we have seen in that week, the week of the 6th to the 11th, or the 5th to the 11th, that there has been an increase in Trinidad and Tobago in cases. And that's really, actually, is that surprising? That's not surprising.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ministry's COVID updates for the period 15th of February to the 21st of February, we saw that there were 226 new cases of COVID.
Yes.
So we await the new the new COVID update this week to see what that looks like.
Yes, and it takes about 2 weeks.
Right.
In that week window, you would see whether there is, what kind of increase there is.
Right. I wanted to ask, just switching gears a bit, what is WHO's mandate right now?
With regard to COVID-19?
COVID-19, what is the focus right now? Yeah.
Well, we are still globally ensuring that people have vaccines. Would you believe it or not? There's some parts of the world that people have not had enough vaccines coming in.
Wow.
So right now, we are still ensuring that people are vaccinated. They're still being distributed through the COVAX facility, because that is the way that when COVAX was set up to ensure that as many people in the world get vaccinated. Of course, too, every single week there is an update coming out of WHO that tells you what the trends are globally. The precautions have not changed in terms of the public health and social measures. But what we do during our updates is we track the sequences. We have to keep our eyes on the evolution of the virus. That is a big thing, because we do not know if or when there will be a mutation that could be virulent like Delta was. So a lot of effort goes into tracking, doing genomic surveillance and sequencing. And incidentally, you may also know that the UE unit under Professor Carrington is the unit for the Caribbean that does that genomic sequencing for the Caribbean. So we do that. We study the course of the virus in different countries, the different lineages or the different mutations of the virus everywhere in the world. And we continue to give updates on what is going on with the virus. We are still trying to study the origin of the virus. So far, there is not evidence that it was manufactured in a lab, as people have said, but it is one of these strange things where, having all this time having passed, we cannot say with absolute certainty what was the original source of the virus, although we suspect that it is from animals and the Wuhan wet market. But so much time has passed and so many things have happened that you can't, say 100% that is the case. But investigations are still going on in that area. So we are keeping our finger on the pulse, and we are updating the world globally through our website and through Q&As. Maria Van Kerkhove, as I mentioned, the technical lead, Mike Ryan, the head of health emergencies, they do regular question and answers globally on YouTube, so people can update themselves on what is going on with COVID-19 in general.
Thank you so much for that information, Dr. Wheeler. Also, thank you for joining us this morning. Very important conversation. Wear your mask, sanitize, stay home if you feel unwell. Thank you so much, Dr. Wheeler. Take care.
Thank you,
Stay
Dominique.
with us. We are about to go to a break, and we'll be back with more.
Okay.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered.
The conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN, Content Capital.
Have we taken into account the experiences of those who have received a devastating diagnosis but persevered, fought, and are survivors today? I welcome Ms. Sally Babulal, a brave woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer. She will share with us her experience of a life-changing journey.
When you get diagnosed, more often than not, you have no experience, none, with this disease.
What's Up, Doc? Every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Thank you for staying with us. This is a new day, a brand new reason to celebrate because we have life this morning. We are joined by our second interview, and this interview is going to focus on Zero Discrimination Day. So the Equal Opportunity Commission, the EOC, is celebrating and commemorating Zero Discrimination Day on Tuesday, the 1st of March 2023. This United Nations observance is an opportunity to share the mandate of the Commission and its work. On Zero Discrimination Day, March 1st, UN signatories celebrate the right of everyone to live a full and productive life and live it with dignity. Joining us to discuss this more is HR Ian Roach, who is the chairman of the Equal Opportunity Commission. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you for having me. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for being here. So let's get into it one time. What is Zero Discrimination Day?
Zero Discrimination Day is a day that started by the United Nations General Assembly on the 1st of March 2014. It was celebrated, it was designated a day to be to recognize the stigma associated and the discrimination associated with HIV and AIDS. But since then, it has broadened and expanded to include all forms of discrimination, to eradicate discrimination in all its facets. And that is why we are celebrating and embracing the celebration of Zero Discrimination Day. It's an ideal that we hope to achieve. It is within the mandate of the EOC to deal with discrimination, and as the primary entity in Trinidad and Tobago, the Commission mandate is to deal with eliminating discrimination and also promoting equal opportunity for all.
Right. And in this regard, what does discrimination look like? When we talk about, how this day was created and what it really celebrates and hopes to achieve, what would you define discrimination as?
Discrimination, is just treating someone differently like you would treat yourself. Under the Equal Opportunities Act, there are 7 status groups, right, which is sex, race, religion, geographical origin, ethnicity, marital status, and disability. right? Those are status grounds. And there are 4 broad categories of discrimination where you can come in, which you will see if you are treated differently in terms of employment, education, professional goods and services, and accommodation. You can file a complaint with the EOC to challenge if you think you have been discriminated because of any of the status grounds in any of the broad, the 4 categories of that we are have been identified under the mandate of the EOC's Act.
Right.
Right. But in a broader sense, discrimination, once you treat somebody differently, like you would treat somebody of equal status, that could be a form of discrimination.
Okay. All right. So we'll stick up and we'll come back to that about the filing of the complaint, because we really want to talk about that as well too, right? This year's theme for the commemoration of Zero Discrimination Day is Save Lives, Decriminalize. What is the significance of this theme, and how does the EOC see us achieving this?
Well, true. Well, first of all, we hope to educate people, right? By education is one of the primary methods of eradicating discrimination, because I think discrimination is in its most ugly form has a genesis in ignorance, right, and fear. When people are not properly informed, people tend to be very fearful of others and other situations, right? So if we can eradicate that, as a in terms of educating the public, right, starting in schools, starting in businesses, public and private, using all forms of media, all access to information dissemination, we are hoping to sort of uplift people's thinking and to direct it in thinking in an inclusive way rather than an exclusive way. That is what this whole initiative is about.
Right. I like what you said about getting rid of the fear, because I think once you get rid of the fear, then there's a sort of acceptance and understanding. And that's where compassion could come into place. So I really appreciate you saying that. How will the EOC commemorate this day, and how can the general public support the mandate of the EOC?
Well, first of all, what we are doing starting from today, as you said, beyond when you introduced the topic of Zero Discrimination Day, it is celebrated on the 1st of March.
Right.
But we starting from today, the EOC is making a number of media appearances in all of the television stations, radio stations, and via our normal other source of social media means of informing persons what discrimination, what Zero Discrimination Day is all about. So we are hoping to ramp up our education focus in this regard today and tomorrow to celebrate and to also bring awareness.
Okay, good. Let's switch gears a bit and we go back to the EOC. As a body, what does the EOC do, and what are the major functions of the EOC?
Well, the EOC is the leading advocate in Trinidad and Tobago for dealing with all forms of discrimination. Okay. And I said, there are 7 status grounds, and there are 4 grounds upon which you can file a claim if you think you are being discriminated either in every field of education, in terms of employment, in terms of provision of goods and services, and in terms of accommodation. So what the EOC is mandated to do is to focus the public's attention and sensitize people to what could be termed unfortunate circumstances and people dealing with you differently and not on an equal basis. So you as an individual, which has consequences for maybe any employment, if you go for a job, if you go for education, if you look into applying to get into, to a house, to acquire, whatever, it's in the normal, and those broad aspects of our citizens' access to inclusiveness in society, right? So we also, apart from that, we do training. Yeah, you see there's training.
Okay.
Goes into various government and private enterprises to sort of educate, work with your HR, their HR department, and trying to identify areas to sensitize people what they need to look at, where there's discrimination, how to deal with it. We have certain publications and guidelines that we publish from time to time, so as to assist people in understanding the insidious nature, because it's not always obvious, it can be very insidious, discrimination.
Okay.
So it is, and from time to time, we are called upon to also, by the minister, who is aligned with the Attorney General's office and Minister of Legal Affairs, to advise them on matters that need to be addressed, how to probably to tighten or to increase the protection available under the Equal Opportunities Act. And as the Act exists right now, as much as it covers these four grounds that I told you, I think there's still a lot that is missing that can be taken into consideration for us to offer a better and more holistic protection for discrimination for persons suffering such.
Right. So based on what you said, if someone feels like they're being discriminated against, how can they now come to you and lodge a complaint? Walk us through that process.
Okay. So on our website, you can go on the website, the EOC's website, and download a complaint form. You fill out the complaint form. You can either have it sent in via email, via fax, or you can bring it into the office, which is located in Shogun St. Manic Street. When this is lodged, an officer will be assigned to it, who will investigate the allegations to know whether or not there is any merit in it, because you may lose a job or you may not get something maybe necessarily fall within the remit as being discriminatory. So once there's a discrimination that's been made out, the officer in charge will then will certainly liaise with the legal unit to look at the elements that be necessary to ground such a complaint.
Right.
And persons that are the discriminator will be written to, and whatever, and given an opportunity to explain his or her or the institution's position that give rise to this complaint. After such investigation has taken place, persons will be invited to come to conciliation. At the EOC, we have a conciliator who will engage in conciliatory discussions. This will take a number, it may take 1 or 2, 3 sittings. And if it's resolved here, that's the end of it. If it is not resolved and believe that the matter has to go further, it can be referred to the Equal Opportunity Tribunal, which is also another creature under the Equal Opportunities Act, which is headed by a chairman and a judge with two assistants in terms of adjudicating whatever the issue may be.
Okay.
And the Equal Opportunity Tribunal is a court, basically. It's a court of superior record, like the High Court, and can issue orders, give directions, and you can get an award compensation as the case may be.
Right.
So you have, up to where you are in the EOC, up to the point of conciliation, there's no charge involved at all. There's no cost whatsoever.
Okay, good. So it is a bit of a lengthy process, but you do encourage persons, if you do feel that under the grounds of what you're saying, you are discriminated against, then it is something that you should look into. Yes? Yes,
definitely so. Because we know, unfortunately, Israel is a plural society. Israel is a society that is very mixed. It is rich in its cultural mixture. And you just had Campbell that just ended a couple.
Yes.
I will say a couple hours ago. It seemed like a couple hours. And when you look at it and you see the diversity involved in Trinidad in that carnival, and the joyfulness and the inclusiveness at that point in time, we were hoping that Trinidad, we were hoping that our country could reach the last state on a daily basis, where every creed and race, regardless of your ethnicity, wherever you come from, once you are in Trinidad and Tobago and you live in Trinidad and Tobago, that you have equal opportunity to all the resources to be the best that you can be as a human being. And this is what we are aiming for, and it's what we hope to achieve. At the Equal Opportunities Commission. This is the mandate of the Commission.
Right.
But also, in recent time, what we have been doing, continuing from the former boards, that we are trying to increase the mandate of the Equal Opportunities Commission to be the institute, a Human Rights Institute of Trinidad and Tobago, where you will have a broader umbrella of protection for human rights abuses, right? Right now, as I said, it's very limited. We need to amplify that more, so that it will come in, it will come under the protection as a Trinidadian and Tobagoan citizen, or anybody who enters the country legally will be able to seek protection if necessary, that they think they have been discriminated against.
Right, that is really, really good news. And let's go on to another initiative of the EOC, which is the caravan. So talk to us about the caravan. We know we're still coming out of a pandemic where, the caravan may have been affected one way or the other. Tell us about the caravan. When will it resume? How the public can get involved? Where would it take place? Let us know about that.
Yes. So the caravan came about as an initiative coming out from the communication sector of the EOC, where we will, during the COVID pandemic and everything, but basically life almost came to a halt, and we were not able to physically go and visit institutions, areas as we would have normally have done in the past. So the caravan was seen as an opportunity, as we are now getting back some sort of normalcy in life, to reach out to persons who would have not even been able to benefit when they try to move with the times and engage in virtual publication hearing. And so not all persons in Trinidad have access to technology, and therefore some of them would have been excluded. So the caravan is a means of addressing that, and again to go back out and have personal contact, to be seen and to disseminate the information of their rights and so on, and to let you know that the agency is in existence, what the institution is about, what is there to do to assist you, to protect you and your rights. So during the caravan, which will be throughout Trinidad and Tobago, is going to start on the 3rd of March, this Friday. The first continuation would be at our offices, our head office in Manning Street, Sorbonnes. At that time, it will be a blue tent, it will be attended to by officers. There will be a legal representative there who will be able to answer any questions dealing with your rights and whatever challenges you may have, or you misunderstandings you may have about to your rights and whatever the grounds that that you may be interested in, and you believe that you have been prejudiced in the past. What is important to know under the Act is that when you are going to alleging that you have been discriminated against, you have 6 months under the Act to bring a complaint.
Right.
And however, there is an opportunity for good reasons, even though it's outside the 6 months, that we may be able still to accept a complaint, even though it's outside 6 months.
Okay.
But it's necessary to know that. So timeliness is important.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Time that is eaten up in dealing with that matter is because of the exchange of correspondence between the EOC and whoever the discriminator may be. And sometimes where lawyers get involved, things can become a little more drawn out and complicated.
Right.
Other than that, it is one of the most efficient means and ways of dealing with discrimination in Trinidad and Tobago.
Sorry to cut you there. What is the email address? I want to get that information out to people. What is the email address that persons can go to get the form to file the complaints, to find out information on the caravan and all other initiatives from the EOC? What is that email?
Okay, it's www.equalopportunity.gov.tt.
Okay.
Telephone number is 672-0928. You can also go on Facebook, Equal Opportunity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago, and get whatever information that you require.
Okay.
You can also go on Instagram, Equal Opportunity Commission TT, and YouTube, Equal Opportunity Commission TT. So you have a number of different social media access to get information.
And ways to get onto the EOC, yes. Thank you so much for that. Really, really important information. All the best to you and the team as you commemorate Zero Discrimination Day and you move into a caravan later this week. We appreciate you for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to appear and to educate Trinidad and Tobago.
No problem.
We want to be a society of all inclusiveness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
For good day.
All right, great. So we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we have some more in this hour.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back. Our next interview is our Tech Talks interview. So we're talking about the future of technology, brands, and the economy. And here to tell us more about a conference that they're having coming up tomorrow, please God, we have Kevin Blake Thomas, the CEO and co-founder of TCON. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having me on with you today.
All right, thank you for being here with us. So let's get right into it. Tell us about what TCON Tech Talk is about.
Okay, awesome. So the name of our company, the name of our startup is TCON, and we have been on this journey for about 13 plus months. And as part of the journey, we have had some successes. And for us, we want to be able to start giving back as we go through this journey to the rest of the startup and the entrepreneurial community of Trinidad and Tobago. Mm-hmm. So one way for us doing that is hosting this event. It's called TCON Tech Talks. It's going to be tomorrow, March 1st. It's going to be held at Hilton, 7 a.m. To 4 p.m. And the idea and the thesis behind it is really simple. Access to talent is equally distributed, but opportunity isn't. And we want to really be able to be a driving force for helping other fellow founders, startup enthusiasts, and those involved within the community to be able to ensure that there is access to opportunity, create a sense of awareness, and really be able to drive that small and medium business sector of the economy, because as you know, that's one of the most thriving, the largest sectors of the economy. It's a way for us to really begin contributing meaningfully, helping and really pulling others along with us as we go through on our journey.
Right. And speaking about access for all and giving all the opportunity, break down the theme for us, because the theme for this conference is the future of commerce, technology, consumer brands and platforms, and the creator economy. That is correct.
So as part of our journey, we were accepted into the prestigious Techstars Accelerator. Okay. Just a quick background on that. That's a global accelerator that accepts startups into their ecosystem and really help fast track the business. So moving from point A to point B in the shortest possible time by giving them access to resources that they may need. That could be capital, that could be people, that could be mentorship, as the case may be. And in that program, the focus and the theme was along those same three pillars. So the commerce, platforms, and the creator economy. Okay. And really for us, our business also mirrors that. So we want to be able to position ourselves to give back in a meaningful way. And for us to be able to do that, For us to be able to do that is really building on the strengths that we have. So that's why that's the theme.
Okay.
The idea is that anyone who is operating in the space of commerce, helping creating new businesses to drive online transactions, as the case may be, or you may be building solutions that can help facilitate persons joining the online system to effectively create commerce, or the new space that's called the creator economy, which comprises of 200 million people globally. And you can think of them as online digital creators, social media influencers. All of these people belong to the creator economy. So TCON as a business, we are in that sweet spot of the intersection of all three. And we want to be able to provide the tools, the opportunities, the knowledge for folks who are in those three segments of the industry.
Right, because my next question was, who would be the ideal participant for this conference? Who is the person you're really speaking to? Who you want to be attending this?
Definitely. So it's going to be a mix of two audiences. Primarily, the first primary audience is going to be those founders, those startup founders, or would-be startup founders, somebody who's thinking about creating and jump-starting that business. We want them definitely in the room because there's going to be a lot of opportunity for networking, just getting great advice, meeting people who are doing this thing in terms of helping accelerate startups 24/7. So I mentioned Techstars.
Yes.
They're going to be our keynote speaker, the managing director for Techstars for the program that we participated in. Melissa Pegas is going to be our keynote speaker. Wonderful resource and someone that you can tap into. So we want fellow startup founders to be able to have conversations with her. Also, it's all about the business community at large, corporate TNT. We want them involved in ways where they can support these small organizations, whether it's through partnerships, whether it's becoming customers for these startups, as the case may be, or maybe they have access and ways that they can provide capital to these businesses in some form or fashion. But the idea is really to get these two segments of the market communicating, collaborating, and knowing that they are there together.
Right. Now, we're talking about technology. Right? And we know that there are persons, I'm not calling any names or pointing any fingers, who don't consider themselves techie people, you know, but there's advancement of technology all around us. And it's literally, you need to come on board. You need to be updated on what's taking place. You need to educate yourself. Talk to us about that need and how someone, the average citizen, you know, should be encouraged to get educated, to research, attend conferences such as this. Talk about that.
Yeah, so certainly. So in today's world, the future is already here. You know, so we're seeing a lot of these advancements and technologies that's taking place, that's coming out in the news every day and things like that.
Yeah.
The good thing about technology, you don't necessarily need to be that guru. You don't necessarily need to be that expert. But the advice that I would give immediately right now here is that you need to be able to adopt technology and infuse technology in your business, because technology is that driver, is going to be that force multiplier that is going to help you differentiate yourself from the competition, give you some sort of competitive advantage. Maybe you're able to speed up your processes by a factor of 10, 20 as a result of using technology. And the good thing about it is being part of the community of TCON Tech Talks tomorrow is that you get access to folks who are well-versed, industry experts, been doing this for 10 plus, 20 plus years. So you can tap into them. They can give you recommendations on who you should be speaking to, who you can partner with. Find that expert that is right for your business, and they can give you guidance, they can give you mentorship and things like that. So for example, one of our speakers is going to be Amazon AWS. I'm sure we're all familiar with the company Amazon.
Yes.
AWS is their technology arm of the business. And what they are going to be doing there is really talking about how you can leverage the services that they make available. And one of the benefits we are making available for the startups is that we are affording them $1,000 in value of credits that they can use Amazon AWS services to start their businesses immediately.
Wow.
So there isn't that sense that, okay, maybe I start tomorrow, next week. No, forget that. Utilize the opportunities that you have and start today, right now. That's the idea. So to learn more about TCON Tech Talks, we have our website that you can access us, www.tcontechtalks.com. You can purchase your tickets online. All of the information is there. We're on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn. Learn more about TCON. The TCON website is www.tcon.app.app. And you can find us on social media, TCON app on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. So different ways that you can reach out to us. If by seeing this message you get excited about the opportunity, please feel free to reach out to us and we can get you set up for tomorrow.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you coming on to talk to us about this. We wish you and the team all the best on the great work that you're doing and also on the conference coming up. Right?
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to come in here today.
No problem. All right, so we're going to a break. We have the newscast, and when we come back, we have one more interview with you this morning. Stay with us.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Here's your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Acting ASP says Carnival 2023 was safe. Ministry of Trade to recruit inspectors for the scrap metal industry. PNM stalwart Jarrett Narain has died. And internationally, at least 12 injured as tornadoes strike central U.S. Now for the details. Acting ASP Ashraf Ali has boasted that the mother of all carnivals was, in fact, safe. He was speaking on WESN's Talking Point.
Carnival 2023 was, in fact, safe in the context from the Carnival period, right? We had we had some minor issues. Not major or major SRCs, as the case may be, that would have caused a damper on Carnival. We had a lot of officers on the ground, we had a lot of exercises taking place, and in all, Carnival specifically was in fact safe and successful from a police perspective.
The recruitment of inspectors for the scrap metal industry has begun. According to a Newsday report, the Trade and Industry Ministry has advised for 8 scrap metal inspectors to join the newly established scrap metal unit. The ministry said the inspectors will report to the Chief Trade Officer of the Trade License Unit and are required to visit and inspect scrap metal sites, oversee the loading of material into containers for export, certify the scrap metal examine documents, and interact with dealers, stakeholders, and the public. The National Women's League of the People's National Movement mourns the loss of party stalwart, politician, trade unionist, and servant of the people, Mr. Jarrett Narain. Mr. Narain's political activism spanned a period of over 40 years, having worked with former political leaders, namely the late Dr. Eric Williams and the late George Chambers, and also the late Patrick Manning, an opportunity few politicians would have had. Mr. Narain first entered representational politics in the year 1983 as a county councillor in the municipality of Arima. Mr. Narain would have contributed to the first local government reform paper in 2003, a reform which is being realized under our current Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. In international news now, a winter storm that brought unprecedented snow to Southern California has moved eastward, bringing with it tornadoes and powerful winds. Residents in Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Texas were asked to seek shelter as severe weather makes its way to the region through Monday. There were reports of damaged homes and knocked down power lines, leaving thousands without power. Severe weather is expected to continue to the upper Midwest later in the week. Well, that was your news to the hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. I appreciate you for staying with us this morning. We're having a really, really good time. We have been educated on so many things, from tech to COVID to Zero Discrimination Day. Now, before we go into our final interview for the morning, can you believe that we're almost over? I want to remind you of our motivational moment that we had earlier. So we're talking about problems, and Robert Schuller is telling us that problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. When a problem happens, it's not to shut it down, it's not to freeze up and figure, well, this is the end of the road, complete failure, it's a disaster, it's over. It's only an opportunity for us to pause, to figure out what's the next step, to reroute, to refocus, to gain more understanding, to figure out ourselves a little bit better in that moment. And there are 3 ways that I shared earlier from an article online that talked about dealing with these problems as they arise. Because guess what? Problems are going to arise, unfortunately. So the first way is to give thanks, gratitude. An attitude of gratitude is always the best attitude to have. Give thanks in that moment. It could have been worse. 2, choosing to see our problems as maps for our lives. So they're just simply here to show us, okay, where we need to figure out how to reroute and so on. And the third thing is to trust your own journey. Everyone's journey is different. Nobody's journey is similar to the other. So we may have the same destination, the same end goal, but how we get there may be a bit different. And that's okay. Our pace is our pace. People might be way ahead of us and we're in the back wondering what's happening. That is okay. Stay the course. Your journey is your own. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have a very important interview with someone from the region. Stay tuned.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Now, I promised you that we have someone from the region joining us. So, Guyana has a new Soca Monarch winner, Adrian Gutchen. And he's no stranger to the stage or the title. Adrian, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm tired from the season in Guyana. Guyana, we have 2 different seasons of Carnival. We have Mashramani, then we have Guyana Carnival. So the Mashramani leg is over, the Soca Monarch, everything is over. So yeah, I'm back in New York, heading back to Guyana in a couple of days. I'm back and forth, man. I'm having a beautiful time, loving it.
I am so happy to hear that. Congratulations to you on cupping this title. And it seemed like it was a really close race. From what I understand, it's by 1 point.
Yeah, it was really close. I'm thankful for that 1 point, and maybe that 1 point was my experience for the stage. I'm thankful to God first and foremost for this. You know, I have been running for this title again for a little while, for like about 5 years. I've stayed away, and I came back with a song that it's for the country, for the people, and hey, that 1 point. Thank you for that 1 point.
I want to get into so much in this interview with you. Let's backtrack a bit. So you would have entered the competition many moons ago. You would have gotten the title before, and then you stayed away for a bit. What was that process like, and that decision to stay away? And why did you resume going back into the competition?
Sometimes you need to revamp. You need to just step back and look and see what's going on. And also the prize money went up, you know, so.
There's that.
Yeah. So the song basically just, a lot of people said, look, the song is a nice song, enter the competition with the song, because the song wasn't really made for for the Soca Monarch. I wasn't gonna go in or nothing like that. I was just gonna do a song on the rhythm, my contribution for the season, and that was about it. But hey, God wanted more, so yeah.
Yeah, and talk to us about that song, because the name of the song is Place Nice, right?
Place Nice.
And I saw that the opening of that performance, you had a video running, and there were different persons, including Bunji Garlin, talking about Guyana and how Guyana is nice. So talk to us about the song, the inspiration behind the song, and then what are some of the things in the song that you mentioned about Guyana being nice?
Hey, first of all, let me say thanks to Ian Alvarez. That's my boy. I know Bunji since Bunji had dreads. You know what I mean? That's my boy. And everybody else that was a part of that introduction. And the last person that said the place is a really nice place was actually the president of Guyana. So that there was I think that was the one point right there.
Very special.
I think, yeah, because to get the president to do that, boy, it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? The song just came about from me going to Guyana last year for Guyana Carnival, and I haven't been back to Guyana for a little while, and everything just looked different. Everything just looked upgraded, and people just keep saying, "Yo, boy, Guyana, nice, boy, Guyana, sweet, boy," and stuff like that. So it just stuck in my head, but I didn't know. I wanted to use it, but I just didn't know when I would use it. Fast forward a couple of months after, this guy from out of London, his name is Pajo. He is Guyanese, also sent me a rhythm produced by a guy called Sheikh in London, and I just heard the rhythm, and it just came to my head, and I just said, Guyana is a nice place. Guyana is a real nice place, and it just stuck in my head, and it was very easy to sing, very catchy, and I just worked from there, and the rest is just magic.
Right. Now you mentioned the advancements in Ghana, and I know on social media, you know, we could be unkind sometimes. You know, there are many times where we make on social media, you know, fun is made of maybe the accent or the way things are said or the way things are done.
Yeah.
And there's the misconception that the country isn't developed as it is. So talk to us about that, because there is development happening. The country is doing well. Talk to us about that.
Oh boy, the country is doing great. That oil, my God, the country is doing exceedingly well. Guyana is just different. Like I said, Guyana is a real nice place. Listen, buildings that were there before, that were like, I could say it, even buildings that were run down, pulled down or whatever. If you go there now and you see it, they're big build that you'd be like, wow, what happened? The place has just upgraded. The place did a total 360. The new government that's in there, they're doing different things. They're reaching out to a lot of entertainers, a lot of different programs for schools, a lot of different things. So, yeah, man, that's the reason why I said it's a real nice place, because so many things have been looked into, and the country has just evolved.
Right. Tell us, we're going back to the competition. So tell us, in terms of the competition, how was the competition for you leading up to the preparation? And then what was your mindset going back into it?
To be honest, the preparation was just nothing to do with me. I basically did the song. The team in Guyana, my Cross Color Records, everybody from the team, Vanilla, Borchmore, Simon, everybody in Guyana basically did stuff for me, because I was here in New York and it was very hard for me to do a lot of things down there. So they were like, listen, you don't worry, we'll look after everything. We'll look after the dancers, we'll look after this, that. You just tell us some of the ideas, and we're just going to do it for you. And without them, it wouldn't be possible, you know what I mean? They helped me make this possible. When I got into, I was trying to get a flight to at least be a couple of days on the ground.
Right.
To just get the feel and everything. Boy, the flight that I got, I reached into Guyana 3:30 in the afternoon. I went from the airport, I went straight to sound check.
Wow.
And after sound check, I had a show. I had like 4 interviews. It was just 3 days of rigorousness.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't had no time to do nothing. I ain't even had time to see my family good, nothing, because of how it was fast paced. The night of Soca Monarch, it was like, I was like, wow, what's gonna happen here? Because this wasn't happening, that wasn't happening, it wasn't reaching this person, that person. I say, you know what? Everything is in God's hands. And the strangest thing about it all, I had a dream that I win it, you know, but I just didn't know, like, the things that happened in the dream, I wasn't seeing it, and I was like, this gotta be a crazy type of dream, man. but then this is the first time, like, looking back at it, a lot of things happened that I didn't even realize happened from the dream, and I was like, yo, life is weird. Life is just weird, man. But wow, let's say everybody that's a lot. Even with this interview and stuff like that, you know, I mean, thanks to everybody that reached out to me and said, Adrian, yes, you could get the interview done and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate it because you make a lot of friends coming along. You reach a lot of different people, and you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah. I think from even listening to you and talking about the dream and all of the different aspects of this thing that didn't go the way that you may have had it planned, you know, it's really and truly what's meant for you is for you. That's it.
True.
You know, and when things aren't working out, they are working out. That's one of the things that we're seeing more and more. Yes.
And that's a beautiful quote there. When things aren't working out, they're working out. That is very beautiful.
Yeah, it's something that I've had to live by as well too, because you could be flustered by what you see, but no, on the back end, you know, it's been worked out.
True.
So for those who don't know, you are also a part of a group called Them Guyanese Boys, and I had the opportunity to meet some of the members locally here for Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival. Talk to us about the group and how y'all would have come to be, and you know, what do you do? What are y'all into?
Yeah, well, them boys was there having a ball for Carnival and stuff like that. I couldn't be there because my schedule didn't permit it.
Right.
As you can see, I was in Guyana, and even being in Guyana for 3 days was hectic for me and stuff like that. But listen, I'm pretty sure the guys did the tunes and they had fun and they went all over, met the people and the vibe and the energy. The crew is just a bunch of, hence the name Them Guyanese Boys.
Yes.
Just a bunch of Guyanese boys that just love doing music. Everybody have their individual style. Everybody have their individual accolades and their own genre that they vibe. Me being the soca one, the person in the group, I just basically try to push my ideas and stuff like that. Hence the song Ben. That's how the whole thing started. I did I had the idea for the song Ben, and I reached out to them, a couple guys that I knew, and it happened. We went into the studio, recorded it, came out singing amazing, and we started to do shows. We started to travel. We did the video. Everything just came into place. And from since then, we just started to move as Them Guyanese Boys. We did another song called Ride, and it people loved it, and everything just started to work out itself, you know. So everybody have their own. Right now, I think Them Boys stay in Guyana. They just came off. Two events. One, I think they did with Valiant, and I think probably with Tempo, and so they're doing a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? They're getting around, moving around, but we all do our different stuff.
Right.
But when we come together to make music, we just do it, man.
Yes, it's quite a dynamic group of different individuals, but the sound is amazing. Tell us what is next for you, Adrian. Now that you have the title again, what is next for you for the rest of the year? What does that look like for you?
The rest of the year for me look like craziness. So many bookings. Of course, almost every Guyanese event I'm booked for. There have been a lot of events that I've been booked for prior. Those people, they have new people that are trying to knock those people out. It's craziness, but I love it. You know, I miss it. I love it. I'm gonna try to get some collaborations done. I'm gonna work on a remix. I'm not done with the song quite yet. The song still have a long way to go and a lot more to do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna capitalize on it as much as possible before I end. Well, we have Guyana Carnival coming up.
Yes.
So I'll be preparing for that, and it's gonna be beautiful. So when I'm done with that, when I'm done with that, then I'll see. Most likely, we have the Labor Day, we have the Atlanta Carnival, we have Miami, we have. It's not gonna stop.
Right. Sounds exciting. I'm excited for you.
I am excited for myself, man.
Nice. Before we go into a clip from your performance at Guyana's Soca Monarch, what advice would you give to anyone coming up in the industry, in Guyana, in the region, in the world, who has a passion for music, loves this thing real bad, and wants to pursue it? What is the advice you'll give them?
I think the first thing you have to do is respect your craft. Learn your craft, The reason why I say respect your craft, you could have it, but you don't have it. Meaning, simple things with your craft could damage you. Your attitude, the way you are with people, the way you maybe you're a good singer and you just love to do things that would mess your voice up and stuff like that. I think respecting it comes from respecting your craft, and when you respect your craft, you learn to respect others and everything around you. You know what I mean? Have respect for it. Treat it with respect, and just take your time, man. And once you see you have that respect, everything else falls into place. Everything, your attitude. Don't be too proud, too hasty, too arrogant. It starts with the attitude, man.
Yeah. Your attitude determines your altitude. I always remember that saying from primary school. Yes.
Yeah, man. It starts respect yourself, respect what you do, respect the craft.
Yes. Well, Adrian, thank you for joining us. Congratulations again to you. All the best and all your endeavors for this year. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have a clip of Adrian's performance from Guyana's Soca Monarch.
Thank you so much for having me.
Fan Zone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Guyana is a nice place. Guyana is a real nice place. Don't hurt up your head, don't worry yourself. Welcome. We're ready to party. Fet after fet, after fet, after fet. Call him in. The people keep calling me. The unity. Fet after fet, after fet. Call him in there. Guyana. There's only good vibes, good energy. We want them inside our head. Good vibes, good. Take a jump up with. Good vibes, good. We want them in. Good. Show them how Guyana sweet. Show them how Guyana. Show them that we know, but hands up Guyana. Show them how Guyana. Show them how Guyana. Show them. Put your hand in the air. Guyana is a nice place. Everybody, them whining from night till morning, and the other parties. If you love Guyana, make some noise. It's only good vibes, good energy. We want to it. Good vibes, energy. Take a jump of it. Good vibes, energy. We want to it. Good vibes, energy. First of all, good morning, Soca Monarch Posse. Good morning, honorable judges. Good morning, Mr. Ramson. Good morning to Dr. Efron Ali. Let me ask you something. Anybody here born in Georgetown Hospital? Georgetown? My name is Adrian Dutchin, and I was born the 4th of September, 1981, in Georgetown Hospital, and I'm a proud Guyanese. I represent Guyana, anytime, anywhere. Myself and Jomo represent this country all over the world. And let me tell you something. I ain't come tonight to pull down nobody. I am pulling down none of my Guyanese artists. Because you know why? We is one Guyana. And if we want one another to get up, we must do it for ourselves. If you believe in Guyana, put your right hand in the air. Right hand in the air. All my Guyanese, put your right hand like this. Put your right hand like this. Guyana is a nice place. One, put your hand in the air. 1, 2, chorus. Guyana is a nice place. Wave it. Guyana is a real, real nice place. Don't hot up your head. Don't worry yourself. Wake up, young one. Big fat crew. Honey, all inclusive. Honey, don't take too fast.
Guyana is a nice place. Trinidad and Tobago is a nice place. Thank you for staying with us today. Thank you for keeping me company. I am Dominique Roy. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great day. Bye-bye.